reach or wonder if there is an anchor that's going to help you amongst the calm, amongst the storm? How many of you have an anchor that you hold on to? Hi, I'm Debra Kasowski, 3-time best-selling author, speaker, executive coach, and the host of the Millionaire Woman Show podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about anchoring to your purpose. Do you have an anchor in your life? That when times get tough, that's something that you hang on to for dear might, that you stay aligned with so that you make good decisions. The world is moving so fast and people all have definitions of who we should be, what we should do. Recently, I was reading the book called The Voice of Knowledge by Don McGill Ruiz. And there's this section in the book that I found so profound that it is really about, as we're growing up, we have our mother's opinion of us. And yet we question ourselves and said, we don't match that. Or we have our father's opinion of us. And then we see that we're not meeting up that expectation. So we start telling ourselves that we're not enough. And they have not meant it that way. Or the teacher in school tells you another definition of who you are. And then you start to believe all these definitions. And you're constantly juggling, wanting to people please and wanting to meet this person's expectations and this person's expectations. Yet they're all the stories you've told yourself that you must not be measuring up. When you have that anchor, that truth in who you are, it's often the values you hold, your purpose, that why that drives you. So I want you to think about the anchors that you have in your life. An anchor is symbolic of so many things. For some people, it might be symbolic of their faith. Someone sent me this beautiful keychain that says, "She believed she could, so she did." And she inscribed my name and New York Times best-selling author. That's one of my goals. So when you can anchor to this, you can visualize. These are anchors that people hold on to hold on to who they are. One of the things that I think about when it comes to my business, being a life, leadership, and business coach, being a podcaster, there was a time I questioned whether I would continue doing the work, sharing my gifts with the world. And I remembered this story. A story of a little girl who made a gift for someone. And she made this gift thinking that she could resolve all grief, all pain, thinking that if that person only opened this gift, that everything would be perfect. Now, truly, that comes from a child's mind. Yet that child still lives thinking that if I can get other people to open up the gift I have to share with them, the gift that they see inside themselves, and to open that up to the world. Imagine if everyone lived fully into their gifts, what this world would be like. And when I contemplated stopping everything based on the beliefs that people had shared with me, and I started to believe them, it tore me apart. I cried for 2 days, and I'd take the tears and I'd wipe them dry, and they'd keep coming. I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know how to stop it. But here's the thing I want to tell you, that calm amongst the storm can be many things that you hang on to. It could be as simple as a keychain, something that you hold in your hand, a stone with words inscribed on it, or just a stone that you found in one of your favorite places in the world where water rushed across it and smoothed the edges. Kind of like us in our lives, how those edges get smooth by some of the circumstances, the curveballs that come our way. So I want you to think about the anchors that you hold. Anchor to your purpose, your values. And when you can anchor to your purpose and your values and make decisions based on what's most important to you, you will never steer wrong. You will have this inner knowing, that listening to that calmness in the storm. And when you hear that, you know that you're on the right track. How do you know when you're anchoring to your purpose? Well, your purpose is your why. And when people say that your why is strong enough when you makes you cry, I didn't realize that when I thought of completely stopping from sharing. And by stopping who you are, it's not necessarily what you do and what you deliver, it's how you show up. If I needed to change how I showed up for the world, or for the people that I want to touch in the world, that would be not following through and being inauthentic, right? So we want people, all people, to show up fully into who they are, doing what they love, and making an impact in the world. So when you think about your why, it can be as simple as making someone's day every day. It could be getting people to open up and share their gifts. It could be, just being a good listener, being a good parent, being engaged in conversation with your kids, getting to know who they are, their favorite color, their friends, their food. It is all about anchoring to purpose. And I know when times get tough, I do anchor to purpose. For me, I choose faith. Faith is a strong anchor for me. And some people use symbols. They wear anchors. They have anchor pictures on their walls, or they have symbols around them that anchor them, that ground them in the times of frustration or storm. What is it for you that you anchor to? And when you anchor to your purpose, do you remember why you do what you do? For many are lost in a storm, not sure what to do. But when you take a chance to sit in silence, to visualize where you want to be, in the silence, that calmness in the storm, you will know that you have this inner knowing, that intuition of when you are making the right choices, when you are staying focused and steady on who you want to show up in the world, and not be distracted by what the rest of the world is telling you to be. When we get so focused on what the rest of the world is telling us to be, we're people pleasing. We're looking for validation. We're looking for approval. We're looking at everyone else, getting caught in comparison. So that's where the traps come in, right? You have the comparison, you have the people pleasing, and then you lose sight of who you are. But who you are is exactly what people want and need. They're not asking you to be anything different. When you hear people share those opinions, it's also based on the noise that they hear around them, what they hear expectations are, and what they're afraid of. I remember, this is years ago, I was about 15 years old. And I remember my grandfather making a comment to me that I became so self-conscious. Yet I was no different than any other child my age. And I still remember it, and it isn't until now that I understand that he was looking from his viewpoint, his fears, his insecurities. Because I was quite confident at that time. But when you hear those messages of you're not measuring up, or you need to be this, or you need to be that, you start telling new stories to yourself. So when you anchor in your purpose, I want to challenge you today to think about what are the stories you're believing? Because there's a lot of lies in those stories. And are you choosing to believe them, and are they serving you in some way? Today, I challenge you to let go of the stories, let go of the lies, let go of the self-limiting beliefs. What do you want? Validate yourself, approve of yourself, give yourself the permission to be who you want to show up to be without this person's opinion, this person's opinion. Now, granted, they all meant well. And here's the thing that I believe. I don't believe that they shared it with poor intention, to intentionally hurt. That's my belief. There may be different truths to that maybe some did. But I'd like to say that most people are good. So if we're looking at everyone has their good intent, remember, they're only doing what they knew at the time of who they were. And we are constantly evolving, and you are not the same person you were a month ago to this day, or a year ago to this day. You are evolving as just as the people around you. You know, your kids evolve, your coworkers evolve, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, your grandparents evolve, because we're all on a journey of a trajectory along time. Yet some of us are at different times, different experiences, and people are looking at things based on their own viewpoint, and not to take it personally. Biggest thing is when you look in that mirror, what do you believe? What is the story you want to hang on to? That anchor that you hold in your hand, that image you hold when you need to be grounded, when you stand tall and power pose it to say, this is who I am and this is who I'm showing up to be. Isn't it time to anchor to your purpose, do what you love, and step into that life of being free to be you? Thank you for joining me here on today's video. You know what I'd love you to do? I would love for you to check out one of the previous content about letting your fear be your motivator. And it will drive you. It will help you push through that fear and let it motivate you and give you that fuel. I'd also like you to hit the bell, subscribe to this channel, share this video with others so that they can anchor to their purpose, so that they can stay true to who they are, because they no longer need validation. They no longer need self-approval from others. They need to self-approve. And they need to be given permission to just be who they are. There is nothing more exciting than having the freedom just to be you. Thank you for watching.